we have a whole system of preparation of the child for life, which always is preparation and never actually gets there. In other words, we have a system of schooling which starts with grades. And we get this little creature into the thing with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And we always preparing for something that's going to happen. So you go into nursery school as preparation for kindergarten. You go to kindergarten as preparation for first grade. And then you go up the grade till you get to high school. And then comes a time when maybe if we can get you fascinated enough with this system, you go to college. And then when you go to college, if you're smart, you get into graduate school and stay a perpetual student and go back to be a professor and just go round and round in the system. But in the ordinary way, they don't encourage quite that. They want you after graduate school or after graduation, commencement as it's called, beginning to get out into the world with a capital W. And so you know, you've been trained for this and now you've arrived. But when you get out into the world at your first sales meeting, they've got the same thing going again. Because they want you to make that quota. And if you do make it, they give you a higher quota. And come along about 45 years of age, maybe you're vice president. And suddenly it dawns on you that you've arrived. With a certain sense of having been cheated. Because it is just the same as life feels the same as it always felt. And you are conditioned to be in desperate need of the future. So the final goal that this culture prepares for us is called retirement. When you will be a senior citizen and you will have the wealth and the leisure to do what you've always wanted, but you will at the same time have impotence, a rotten prostate, and false teeth, and no energy. So the whole thing, from beginning to end, is a hoax.
We're in a time in humanity where we're at a point of no return. And what do I mean by that? We're at a point for those that have woken up to understand that the Matrix is real. You know, the reason why the Wachowski brothers created that movie is because it's true. It's true. You're living in a holographic world that is governed by your thoughts and your emotions.
And the Matrix is programs of what you think you need to do and be based on what the culture has said we need to do and be.
So let's define the matrix. Generally speaking, a matrix is a structure within which something else is embedded. So we have a matrix, and what's embedded? You and I. Okay. There's different kinds of matrices or matrices. But in the movie, all the beings that were stuck in the matrix, in consciousness, they were embedded in that structure, the matrix. And so, in the movie, the matrix is a created world in which beings, people, are embedded, or they're put in the matrix in consciousness. They don't know it's a matrix. It feels like the real thing, and they go on living their life. Like, who hasn't seen the Matrix, right? Okay, so the question comes up, are we in a matrix? And if we were, or if we are, how can we tell? Now, I know for myself that this is a matrix world, and we're in it. But how would you figure it out? Okay, a reality system, or a system of reality, like physical reality, it is a matrix, period. By definition, we're embedded in this physical reality experience from a plane of existence or a place in consciousness that is beyond this vibrational experience, the matrix of the physical universe. Okay, but when you leave the physical universe, your body drops dead, you leave the body and you change vibration, you're in another world or another energy system, another astral plane, another dimension, a universe, something. Each plane dimension, realm, or universe, a reality system, is in itself a matrix. Okay, so there's always, if you're in it, it's an environment of some sort. You could call it a matrix. Okay, so with this understanding, and you don't have to believe this or believe it this way, I'm just saying, with this foundational understanding of what a matrix is, we can see that all experience in consciousness, when you are within a structure that is looks like an environment to you, looks like mountains to me and an ocean over there, looks like the sky, looks like stars and empty space except for some little stars over there and a planet over there, and I'm in my spaceship here and all this stuff. This experience, this structure around you that you call reality or life, stuff, touchy feely. These are called matrices or matrices. This sounds like fun and cute and ha ha ha, but in fact, what if you really are in a matrix? See, in the movie, the matrix was a bad thing. And it was a bad thing not because life in the matrix was so bad. It was actually a little more pleasant in some ways than the real world, right? But in the matrix, what made it bad was that the people in the matrix didn't know they were in a matrix, one. And two, the controllers of the matrix could do anything they want. Whereas the people that were in the dark, unenlightened, unaware, couldn't do anything they want. And they were the effect of those in control. That's what made the matrix in the movie not a good thing. Living the real life seemed to be a better deal than being enslaved by the controllers in such a way that you didn't even know you were in a prison or enslaved. But there you were. Okay? If you're looking at the movie sort of thing, when you get out of the matrix there, you're in the real world. But the real world itself, by definition, is another kind of matrix. It's just more real. This world we're in right now, this physical universe that you and I are in, when you croak, when you drop dead, you are going to be in another realm. It's quite possible that we are in a matrix just like in the movie. Okay, in other words, we are in a matrix where we don't know that we're in one. There are controllers, or those outside of the matrix, that want to keep us in the matrix and keep us unaware that there is a greater reality outside this matrix that we call the physical universe. In this regard, we are in a matrix. Here, physical world, matrix. I've had quite a few out-of-body experiences, and I have been talking with people over the last about at least 10 years, longer really, with other people, 15 years maybe, other people who have gone out of body, and people share their out-of-body experiences with me a lot. My own personal experiences, when I'm out of this world, the physical reality system, the matrix, and I'm into another realm, that I encounter a greater reality. It's more real than this place. When I say that place, there is more than one realm, reality system, universe, dimension beyond this one physical universe, reality system, matrix. Okay, you might want to be free of this matrix, and you try to leave. There are those outside this matrix, the physical universe, that do not want you outside this matrix. They want you back in the matrix, dude. Back you go. So our freedoms are being limited. Our awareness and consciousness and understanding of the greater reality is being compromised and limited. So we got to ask, who's doing it and why they're doing it, and how do you know this rich? People have gone out of body, and they share these stories with me, right? They go out of body, and a very typical kind of scenario is their body's asleep here in the matrix. They fall asleep, and they wake up in another world. So they've gotten out of this matrix. The person that's having the out-of-body experience, or the out-of-matrix experience, is being corralled and messed with their mind, programming them, throwing mental image pictures at them, thoughts, beliefs, things like this. They're programming the people in such a way that the individual ends up coming back to the physical world with a memory block. The common theme in this is that the people would come back after their out-of-body experience, their consciousness shift out of this matrix. They come back and they weren't supposed to remember, but they did. And sometimes I would help them with different tricks, recall, and kind of like a past life regression, but it was, into their out-of-body experience. And sometimes it's kind of similar to hypnosis. Anyway, recalling, helping them recall and recount the occluded parts of their experience. And this information comes out. And it's like, the theme is that we are being duped. As physical humans, we are able to shift out of this matrix. But sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes people will arrive in another realm, a greater reality, except there are people there grabbing you up, corralling you, and mind-fucking you so you don't remember what's going on, and they send you right back. These beings, entities, ETs, do not want you to know that you are living in a matrix world and there is a greater world out there where they live. They live and they do life large. And everybody's having a great time living life large in the greater reality, except us schmucks on planet the fuck Earth.
What is the Matrix control system? We see a portion of it in the areas of government, military, medicine, finance, media, education, academia, and religion. These institutions engineer our belief systems and way of life. Their hidden architects may include secret societies, elite bloodlines, corporate syndicates, international bankers, government think tanks, and black ops military networks. Some call this the shadow government, the Illuminati, or the New World Order. This social political machinery is what many consider to be the Matrix. But in reality, these things comprise only the outer aspect of the Matrix, the part easiest to see, study, and believe in. They are only the branches, whereas the roots extend deep into the occult, alien, and hyperdimensional realms. To transcend the Matrix, we must understand the parts of the control system that originate beyond the political level of the conspiracy, for they are the avenues through which an immense effort of spiritual warfare is being waged against us. These deeper components include, first, the central brain of the Matrix control system, known by the ancients as the Demiurge. The Demiurge is said to be the soul of the universe. It is the all-pervading energy field that projects matter, energy, space, and time at the quantum level. The Demiurge is a non-physical artificial intelligence that in its original and rightful form fashioned physicality according to the divine will. Except it has since broken away from the divine framework and become a parasite upon its own corner of creation, which is the universe we now find ourselves in. The Demiurge has shaped this universe into a cold, deterministic machine, a construct that perpetuates the illusion of linear time that grinds onward without regard for the consciousness of its inhabitants, and that forces its subjects to live by the law of the jungle. These spiritually suffocating conditions are what allow the Matrix control system to exist. They lead to a mode of living that favors serving self at the expense of others. What was supposed to have been a nurturing womb, a growth matrix for the evolution of consciousness through physical experience, has instead taken on overtones of a spiritual prison. The second component of the Matrix includes all the non-physical beings that have taken after the demiurge. In a realm of limited resources, there will be those who have developed competition, predation, and survival to a high art. Such beings are spiritually dead and cut off from the divine. They look to the living, such as ourselves, for their source of energy and entertainment. The more powerful ones, whom the Gnostics termed archons, may be viewed as the henchmen of the corrupt demiurge. Here on Earth, they preside over a network of negative entities that farm us for our soul energy. This network includes demons, parasitic thought forms generated by human suffering and perversion, as well as ghosts working in the service of demons. They are all non-physical predators that roam around and instigate human suffering at every opportunity, mainly to feed off the soul energy released. They are energy feeders, mind manipulators, and tormentors that play us like fiddles if we are not aware. They can orchestrate misleading synchronicities, create accidents and freak illnesses, insert foreign thoughts and emotions into us during lowered states of consciousness, and they can induce schizoid symptoms in the vulnerable. The third component consists of alien collectives that have manipulated mankind in every way conceivable since the dawn of our species. They have shaped our genetics, history, beliefs, and want full control of our planetary destiny. Unlike demons, aliens are physical or quasi-physical beings who possess superior intelligence, psychic abilities, and technology. Within certain limits, their technology allows them to alter matter, energy, space, and time through the use of demiurgic energies. That is why aliens are architects of the Matrix control system. The fourth component is our own biology, which is largely a product of alien genetic engineering over the eons. Our bodies have been designed so that our perception is limited to only the 5 physical senses, and so that our drives are primarily those of the body and ego. It takes nothing to perceive the physical world, and yet it takes everything to reach up and connect with the spiritual world. By default, the odds are already stacked in the control system's favor. We perceive just enough to graze around the cattle farm, but not so much that we easily find a way out. The fifth component consists of empty or programmed humans through whom aliens, demons, and thought forms can work. People who are not in conscious control of themselves are open to control by something else, whether momentarily or permanently. Almost everyone is susceptible to being momentarily influenced when not paying attention. This includes friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, politicians, authors, or celebrities. The ones who are completely empty or deeply programmed are permanent agents of the Matrix. They function as hired clappers for the control system, or as walking mouthpieces for the alien agenda, or they simply act as background characters that prop up the status quo. Together, these components create a framework of control that exists everywhere around us and within us at all times. What is the Matrix? It is the totality of forces and mechanisms that aim to keep us spiritually asleep.